Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Heather and this is Create Your Own Cozy. On today's video, I'm going to do some DIY Christmas decor to possibly resell in my booth. Some of these might be staying home with me. So if you guys want to see what I do on this week's video, stick around. Are new here, what I like to do on this channel is go to the thrift store, grab items and upcycle them to be in more my style. I like to do thrift hauls, thrift flips. I'm gonna try to work on some home makeovers to make my home cozy again. If this is the kind of stuff that you're interested in, I would love it if you would consider subscribing to my channel and hitting that notification bell to all so you get notified every time I upload a new video. On this week's video, I am gonna do some Christmas DIY videos. I'm gonna continue to use my IOD Iron Orchid Designs Christmas Valley Transfer. I've been working on this the whole season long and taking you on this journey with me. If you guys got this transfer, come along for the ride. If you did not, there are plenty of Redesign with Prima Christmas transfers available straight on Amazon. And I even saw some IOD Christmas Valley transfers. If you go over and look on Etsy and just do a search for it, there are some people that are selling them. So while all the retailers might be sold out, there might be one or two online that still have some stuff that you can get your hands on. So don't get discouraged if you don't have it. Just come along for the ride and get some ideas, and let's get started. So the first thing I'm gonna upcycle today is this cute little wooden sleigh. I didn't mind the tone of the wood, so I painted it white, 2 coats of white, and then I'm using black Stays On ink on top of the Kindest Regards IOD stamp. Guys, I love this stamp. It just adds such great dimension. Just making sure I cover it really well and put it over the top of the space that I want to ink, press down without making it move. And it leaves this beautiful impression that is a great backdrop for things. I just love this two-tone look of wood and white. So I decided to get this little deer off of the IOD transfer Christmas Valley that I referenced earlier. Just using up these little transfers and making these fun little projects. So not all projects need to be complicated. I got this wooden horse from my donation fairy friend, Jenny, and I didn't really love the color of it, and it kind of looked homemade. Originally, I was gonna do a clear wax and then white wax it to kind of change the color of the wood. But guys, all I did was hit it with a sander and I smoothed the edges so the whole thing was soft to the touch, and I love the way it looked. How cute would the sky look under your Christmas tree? This next project I got like this from a thrift store for $2. It looked like somebody took this truck that I think that they got from like a craft store or Walmart and then added this tree to it and maybe the wreath, but I wasn't excited about the bright colors. So the first thing I'm going to do is use some DIY white wax to kind of soften all the colors. I could have put clear wax on it first to kind of control it a little bit more, but decided to just go straight for it. I do like muted colors. I'm Heather and I like muted colors. It's who I am. So I put the white wax directly on this very porous wood and then rubbed it with a paper towel to kind of make it a softer look. I liked how it was looking everywhere except over the red. It was reading a little bit pink, so I kind of abandoned the red part and was in my mind thinking, what else could I do to this? So recently I thrifted this little Mozart music and decided to kind of do a decoupage. So I put it over the edges, kind of pushed down to cut it. It didn't need to be perfect because I could sand it later. Decided to use liquid patina from DIY. I'm loving this as a decoupage medium. But since this is like a music book, it did require me, once it dried, to go back and get some of the spaces. It is a thick piece of paper, not really meant for this, but it did work out. So I put this on there, let it dry, made sure I put it over the top, got the air bubbles out, but already I'm liking this cute little truck. After that dried basically overnight, I did sand the edges just so it was a nice crisp edge. And I thought it needed a little bit something. You can see in that front part, a little bit of the red was coming through just because I didn't cut exactly right. And I'm like, well, how can I make this look a little bit more messy, but on purpose? Next, I'm going to these stamps. I got at a thrift store for $1 a bag. They do not stamp straight, which has been my challenge, but thought that this was whimsical enough that even if the letters were a little bit crooked, it would look cute. This is just a piece of drop cloth that I have ripped and kind of shredded and thought that this would be cute going over the little tree in the back. I did use Gorilla Glue spray adhesive for the fabric. I don't like that spray adhesive for much, but for pieces of fabric, it really did work. I just sprayed the fabric directly outside and then just put that across the tree. I did get out the golden rule from DIY and put some gold over the edges just to kind of make the paper look a little bit more three-dimensional. And I did not catch this on camera, but I did end up going over it with DIY dark wax as well. What do you think? Did I improve it? This next project was a doozy. I thrifted this at some point throughout the year. Guys, look at this little craft project. I threw it in my cart, did not look at it, did not notice that it was an old heart with paper on the top of it. So I put it in the water, got the paper off, and then this little side came off. I mean, come on. And then look, I'm not even noticing that I have it on backwards here at the camera. This just shows you how when you're recording things, like, you can be so in a different world. And I was like, wait a second, that doesn't even look right. So I got out the wood glue and my brad nailer, nailed this back on. I just let this sit for a couple days because I'm like, what do I do to this? And I'm like, you know what? It was working this way before. So I got a very heavy piece of scrapbook paper, and some people say that they're not very good at cutting paper. And something that I learned a while ago is that when you're going around the corners, you move the paper and not the scissors, if that makes sense. So I traced it, I cut it, I used this Gorilla Glue spray adhesive again. I put it on, actually I ended up putting it on both sides and then sanded the edges to get them right. That way you couldn't see that there used to be a heart in the middle. This transfer is from that same transfer book. I was trying to decide what to do up here at the top. I don't know. I'm like, it needs something else up here, but I just needed to decide that I was gonna put something else up there. You could kind of see the pattern through the white parts of this transfer, but I was okay with it. I thought this one was very much improved. I forgot to mention I did paint the whole thing white and then distressed it with an electrical sander, and then decided just to put some greenery and some stuff up top. What do you think? Now it's time for project number 5, which happens to be my favorite. I had thrifted 2 of these wooden boxes before. When I saw it, I knew I had to grab it again because I just loved how they turned out. I did learn to go ahead and just sand the black writing off of the top, just so that no indentations bleed through or show through. I did 2 coats of the cottage color from DIY in linen white. And then I was like, what am I going to do to this guy? I kind of wanted to dress him up and put him under my own Christmas tree, but was kind of struggling for what I wanted to do to it. And then I was using the scrapbook paper the other day for my mixed media craft project that I showed over on Facebook. If you're not following me over there, go ahead and find me to see more day-to-day stuff, but decided to kind of mirror this diamond pattern from the scrapbook paper. The paper never would have fit on the top of this round thing, and then here I am kind of getting confused. I'm like, am I doing this right? I don't know that it's gonna work, but let's just do it. So I really wanted to use the color Skeleton Key from DIY Paint. Now, the paint on the bottom was the cottage color, so it had a top coat built in. This paint right here does not have a top coat built in. Looking back, I probably just would have used a color that already had a top coat built in just to make this simpler, but I really wanted the Skeleton Key color. So I did 2 coats of that, took off my tape. There wasn't a whole lot of bleed through. The benefit of there not being a top coat, if there was bleed through, I just took my fingernail and a wet wipe and kind of cleaned that up. And then I used Big Top just over the little diamonds because I need to put the tape on again, and the tape needs to go right where it's already been painted. So it was easy enough to do that. Then I taped over where the diamonds already were and did the whole process again. I got a little messier with the second coat. I was, rushing through. Is this going to work? Am I going to like this? So there was a little bit messier spaces, but again, I just went through with the wet wipe and kind of cleaned it up. Really happy with how this looks. I did Big Top over the whole thing probably 3 times before I added my transfer, and then 1 time after the transfer. And guys, I made sure I painted the edges on the side to make the bottom of the round look very two-toned. I just love how this looked. It took a minute to do this, obviously, but I'm doing it for myself and thinking I may store Christmas stuff in it and then every year put it under the tree before the presents are out to make it look just really cute. So what did you guys think? Did you guys have a favorite? This week, my favorite has got to be that round wooden box with the paint technique on the top and the cute deer transfer. That is staying at home with me, going under my Christmas tree to try to make that space a little bit more intentional, especially as we work our way to finally getting presents under there. But I would love to know in the comments below what your favorite project was today. If you felt encouraged to just slow down and work on some projects, take care of yourself. Guys, it is getting busy around here. I know that for sure. But I want to remind you that most of us love to make because it relaxes us. So let's remember to take some moments to take care of ourselves, make some stuff. If you happen to sell it, cool. But remember that the reason we started this is because it is a way to take care of ourselves. So I hope that you guys are doing well, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.